advised on Hudson County.
There's been another mass shooting in America. This time in
An unusual sighting on Lake Superior has people wondering, is it a lighthouse, perhaps an oil rig, or some sort of paranormal phenomena? While recording a music video shooting iconic Michigan landmarks, Jason Asselin and friends were watching a rainbow in the distance when they spotted something strange on the horizon, something the group had never seen before. Several miles off the coast of Marquette, Michigan, a tall, eerie, unidentifiable object appeared in the water. Asselin says the object was bobbing in the choppy lake water, rising hundreds of feet in the air, resembling a gigantic ship. But after about 20 minutes, Asselin says the object disappeared. He claims it could have been a ghost ship. According to the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum, the Great Lakes is the final resting place for more than 6,000 shipwrecks. The museum says about 30,000 lives have been lost in Great Lakes shipwrecks. Another theory from people who witnessed the abnormal activity is that it was a divine sighting. Jesus Christ walking across the water, carrying his staff. Whether it was a lighthouse, a lost vessel, or Jesus, Asselin says he's willing to accept everyone's opinion on what the sighting was, calling it a fun mystery.
Fish kills from red tide continue to leave a foul smell in Naples. Today, NBC2 uncovered the city didn't really fix the problem, they just moved it. NBC2 viewers noticed dead fish in a dumpster at Horizon Beach along Gulf Shore Boulevard. NBC2's Chris Lovengood went to check it out.
Fish kills at Horizon Beach in Naples are cleaned up, but people want to know, why is the smell so strong even before they hit the beach?
The smell? I mean, it was stinky. It's horrific. It's terrible. It smells. But I think that's just what comes with, the storms that come through here.
City crews dumped the fish in a bin over the weekend in the beach parking lot just off Gulf Shore Boulevard. And Michael Bieber saw them.
Still smell it. Oh, yeah, that's not good.
How's it hitting your nostrils, man?
Not real good.
He says he almost didn't come to the beach today, but has his fingers crossed the smell is handled.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I don't know what in the heck they can do. I don't know if they need to spray it or something. I don't know.
What's bothering people that frequent this beach? Take a look in this dumpster and you'll see dead fish still lingering about, flies included, and people are saying it's irritating their noses.
Very cute.
But one couple says the smell was much worse over the weekend.
It made us cough and everything, and the dead fish everywhere, but the grouper, this, several 100-pound grouper, was unbelievable.
That fish is now buried. Now the question is, what will the city do about the fish in the dumpster? The answer? City staffers say the dumpster will be sprayed and changed out if the odor stays.
They did the best they can. Unfortunately, it does smell, but it'll go away.
People I spoke with say they'll still go to the beach regardless of the smell. They just hope it goes away, and soon.
Wait for it. There it is. A quick flash of light in the skies over the south. A fireball streaking above Alabama and Mississippi. People as far away as Louisiana and Tennessee say they saw it too.
Yikes, look, you can really see that. All right, NASA estimates the meteor weighed about 5 pounds and was roughly 5 inches in diameter. The agency says the meteor was traveling at 89,000 miles an hour. It split apart 41 miles above Louisville, Mississippi.
Have you ever seen something re-enter the atmosphere?
The latest on what is a very dangerous Hurricane Nicole moving into Bermuda. You can see this was taken not that long ago. The winds are picking up, the rain is becoming steady, and that is going to be the case as this is expected to make a direct landfall pretty soon as a strong Category 3. This may be one of the most major hurricanes this island has seen. So it has weakened some, but still very powerful. Winds 125 miles per hour. Take a look at this satellite imagery. That eye is about 50 miles wide, so a large portion of the island is going to be affected by the center of this storm. Winds will be picking up through the afternoon. We will see winds over 100 miles per hour, so devastating winds. We're also talking storm surge that could get as high as 8 feet. Also wave heights. So combine those two, and this really could be devastating for Bermuda as we go through today. It will start to move offshore by later tonight into tomorrow. There's a look at the official track, expected to make landfall shortly as a Category 3.
Look above from Chopper 5, giving us an up-close look at our coastline right here. Meanwhile, Indian River County may have suffered the most from Hurricane Matthew of our 5 viewing areas. Beach erosion, a big problem, and it seems to be the most significant problem in that area. The Now's Alex Hagan is live in Vero Beach this afternoon to show us the hardest hit spots. Alex?
Well, Shannon, we are at Con Beach in Vero Beach, and this is probably where some of the most significant damage is. Take a look here behind me. You can see the parking spaces here along the crosswalk. The shoreline here is completely collapsed. Now, this is just one example of the damage in our area. County leaders say that this is some of the worst damage that they've seen in more than a decade. It's a site
beach is horribly damaged.
Many haven't seen in quite some time.
It's just completely eroded.
But for Angelique Secondine, there's no question JC Park in Vero Beach has some of the worst damage she's ever seen. This exclusive view from Chopper 5 shows the worst of the erosion from above.
Never seen it. Usually the sand's white and there's wide stretches.
Indian River County leaders say Matthew did at least $15 million in damage, nearly $13 million of that to the shoreline. They told me nearly 16 miles of it is critically eroded.
Lost about 25 feet of dune.
County coastal engineer James Gray compared the beach erosion caused by Matthew to what Superstorm Sandy left behind. He said the damage is nearly as bad as Francis and Jean.
We were close to those types of damages.
He says beach renourishment over the years since those two storms softened the blow. Right now, Gray told me county and city workers are assessing the damage and the costs.
It's imperative that we restore our crosswalks, restore our beaches that the public goes to. Obviously, beaches are an economic engine for Indian River County locally and throughout the state.
Now we must hope our beaches don't get hit again anytime soon.
I just hope we don't get hit by another one during this hurricane season.
Now, we're told that county leaders, they are planning to meet with FEMA officials this week, or actually already meeting with FEMA officials so that they can get to restoring these beaches that you see here behind me as soon as possible.
As we Americans sit in our cozy homes with our indoor plumbing and great Wi-Fi, we're constantly subjected to our media telling us it's the war on terror, keeping us that nice and cozy and safe. Especially now with the election going on, fear just sells so well. So this might be a good time to remind everyone that we are the ones killing more people than anyone else on the planet right now, by far. The Physicians for Social Responsibility is an organization based in Washington, D.C. They actually won the 1985 Nobel Peace Prize, and they released a report entitled Body Count: Casualty Figures After 10 Years of the War on Terror. The report takes on the huge task of trying to add up all the people who have lost their lives to our 15-year-old war on terror. And the number they came up with is around 1.3 million people. They report we've killed about 1 million people in Iraq, 220,000 people in Afghanistan, and 80,000 people in Pakistan. They also say these estimates are probably low, as it's really hard for anyone to try to tally, since we keep dropping tens of thousands of bombs. It's nearly impossible to account for every life lost, so the 1.3 million is actually a conservative estimate. It doesn't even take account of everything going on into Yemen, or Libya, or Syria, for instance. The researchers say the real number could easily be in excess of 2 million. That number is 20 times what our government and media like to report. They keep the number around 100,000 or so. But the researchers say that number is ridiculously low, as it doesn't take so much into account. For instance, those reporting the 100,000 number count only about 1,000 deaths in the Iraqi city of Najaf, where the number is actually at least 40,000. So the researchers maintain that any number below at least 1 million is extremely unlikely. They also point out that the exact number isn't even the most important part of their study. What they think is the most important is just the scale of death our war on terror is wreaking on the planet. They say it's important for the public to understand the sheer magnitude of death we've wrought, because that makes it easier to understand what a travesty it is, and also that those waging this war should be held accountable. But instead of talking about that, our media would rather us believe that we are the victims in our nice, well-heated homes. I can think of at least 1.3 million reasons why that is a travesty.
The Islamic State in Syria has expanded its weapons repertoire. According to CNN, the terrorist group has now added drones to its arsenal. ISIS is reported to have used a drone laden with explosives against Kurdish forces on October 2nd. According to U.S. coalition spokesman Colonel John Dorian, this isn't the first time the radical group has used drones, most of which are cheap commercial models made in China. The recent attack resulted in the death of 2 soldiers.
News overnight, a big story that we need to bring to you. The U.S. has retaliated against Yemen after yet another attack on a Navy ship. An escalation in this area. Tomahawk cruise missiles targeting multiple radar sites along the Red Sea that took part in 2 failed attacks on the USS Mason. Those missiles launched by a U.S. destroyer and hitting areas controlled by Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. Leland Vittert, live at the White House with more on this disturbing development. Leland, tell us what's happening.
Well, good morning, Martha. And as you said, Iran is really the key player here. They have been harassing U.S. ships not only in the Red Sea, but also near the Straits of Hormuz for months now. Their rebels fired on U.S. ships during the week. They fired again. They were warned that U.S. captains have the right to protect themselves, and that is exactly what happened overnight as the Navy launched multiple Tomahawk cruise missiles to take out the radar sites that guided those original attacks. According to the Pentagon, they hit and destroyed the radar positions, which would make attacks on U.S. ships more difficult. As we have seen, though, the Houthis are very well equipped by Iran. It was U.S. Navy warships that forced Iranian freighters carrying weapons to the Houthis to turn around. For all intent and purposes, the U.S. and Iran are really in a proxy war over Yemen. And take a look at the map about how strategically important Yemen is. It is the Saudis that are bombing in Yemen using U.S. weapon systems, U.S. bombs backed by the United States, helped by the United States, and Iran, of course, which is backing the Houthi rebels. Control there of the Strait of Mandeb that leads up to the Red Sea is at stake. And then also, Martha, huge implications for anti-terror operations against al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula at stake as well in Yemen.
North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory is making no new friends over the notorious HB2 bathroom bill, and on Tuesday insisted that Caitlyn Jenner must use men's facility. If she is using the shower facility at UNC Chapel Hill after running around the track, she's going to use the men's shower. McCrory said in a serious gubernatorial debate following a question from the moderator on which restroom Jenner, a trans woman, should use. McCrory referred to Jenner as a woman while arguing that she must shower with men, emphasizing how outlandish the HB2 defenders' arguments have become.
This is the football club of Ma'ale Adumim in the occupied West Bank. It's one of 6 built by Israeli settlements in occupied territory. The Palestinian Football Federation wants FIFA to tell these clubs to move to Israeli land or be suspended from FIFA. Now, FIFA has asked the UN for clarification on the occupied West Bank, and the UN has reminded FIFA that these occupied lands, this occupation of this land is illegal under international law and without validity. And FIFA's own rules state that football clubs that are FIFA member affiliates, such as the Israeli Football Association, have to ask permission on the territory of other football associations to be able to play here. Well, the Palestinian Football Federation has not given permission to the Israeli Football Association. Now, the Israelis say that by involving politics with sport, you're stopping children from playing here, you're stopping these clubs from playing sport. Israel would also say that this is disputed land, but then Israel is the only country that says this is disputed territory. The UN says it is illegally occupied.
Days after strong winds brought by Hurricane Matthew battered the eastern seaboard of the United States, and flooding has displaced thousands of people in North Carolina. Nearly 4,000 have been taken to refuge shelters, leaving businesses flooded and homes with water up to their roof lines. Governor Pat McCrory has warned of extremely dangerous conditions in the coming days, where several rivers are at record levels. 35 people in the state have already died as a result of the storm.
Do not go through water. We've had over 10 people killed as a result of that. We're not messing around, and we do not want to put people at risk to save you once you make that decision. Too many people have died.
In South Carolina, about 532,000 homes are still without power. That's down from 2.2 million on Sunday. However, disaster declarations in both Carolinas, North and South, have been made by President Barack Obama, which will make federal funding available to people in the hardest hit areas.
Minus 5 minutes and counting.
There's been another mass shooting in America. This time in a